back for our daily college basketball best bets here on Sunday, December 21st. We've got a bunch of games today, obviously, with it being the weekend, and I've picked out the 5 best games, in my opinion, again, for this Sunday slate of games. Yesterday, 2 and 3, not great. We got some big victories, though. Late night spot and the early spot. So we woke up, obviously, we woke up and watched the Buffalo game. They went out and beat West Michigan. It was even money for the most part. And Buffalo really led through the entirety of that game, found their lead early in the first half and really just held on to it. ULM sucked even worse than I thought they did. Louisiana shot 70% from the field in the first half, and there's really no going back from there. Just like SEMO, Southeastern Missouri State or University, they go to Tennessee State and shoot 70% as well in the first half. Guys, I don't want to accuse a team of purposely losing a game, and I'm not doing that by any stretch of the imagination, definitely. I'm playing a character here. But Tennessee State opened at minus 135. They closed at plus 135. How? They were healthy. They were at home. And all of a sudden, they go into that game. They don't put a single hand in a face of any SEMO shooter. They leave them wide open from 3 the entire game. SEMO's got guys hitting 4 threes out the gates, and Tennessee State's still playing back. They're not no hand up, nothing. Just okay, keep shooting. They're missing layup after layup after layup. I'm just saying something went on with that game. I don't know. No one's really watching OVC basketball like that. I'm just saying that was weird. Georgetown sucks. I don't know how they've been looking so good until we bet on them again. No, in all fairness, we hit on them earlier in the week. And then shout out to Nevada. They looked great, right? That game wasn't a contest past the first 8 minutes. Nevada really ran away with that one. So let's look for a better day today, folks. Before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Later today, we're going to have our NBA best bets, so make sure to join us for that. And also, with it being a Sunday, obviously, we have our NFL predictions, best bets, and best player props. All of those were posted yesterday and earlier in the week on the channel. So go make sure to check those out if you have not yet. Okay. On the first of our 5 best bets today for college basketball, let's kick things off with an early game, and we go to Highland Heights, Kentucky for the Northern Kentucky Norse hosting the Charleston Cougars. I'm going to take Northern Kentucky here to win and cover this basketball game. They are 2.5-point favorites at home, and I believe this is a great spot for them. I'm seeing some lines or some books have this at minus 145 in the money line. If you want to play that, go ahead. But Charleston's yet to win a game on the road this season, and the Norse are 7-1 in Highland Heights. So I think I'll take my chances with Northern Kentucky finding a way to win by 3 or more points. Northern Kentucky, 9-4 on the season. They are coming off a loss in their 3rd Horizon League game of the year to Oakland, which isn't ideal. That was their first home L of the year. They had lost another game in the Horizon League prior to that at IPFW at Purdue Fort Wayne. But all around the season, this team has been good at home, beating teams like Cleveland State, beating Boston U, beating Wofford, beating Eastern Kentucky. They have won in Highland Heights with the exception of their last game. And all around, yes, a 9-4 team. I understand they've been a little underwhelming in the Horizon League so far, because if you look at the Horizon League standings and you look at just overall win-loss record and don't take into account conference record, Northern Kentucky's got the second best just overall record in the Horizon, only behind the RMU Colonials. However, obviously that's not gone the Norse's way so far in conference play. Only victory against Cleveland State at home, which is nice, but then again, the back-to-back L's to Purdue, Fort Wayne, and to Oakland at home as well. But here comes another non-conference game for Northern Kentucky as they're going to play the CAA's Charleston, a team that has struggled quite a bit this season, especially on the road, like we mentioned. Only played 2 games on the road this year, but neither of them have been great. The USF game was a lot better than the Liberty game because they went to Virginia and played Liberty at their second game of the season and lost by 15 points. A couple games ago, they went to Orlando to play USF. They lost by 6 points. They are on a back-to-back win streak, so 2-game winning streak, but their victories are the Citadel and Charlotte. So, yeah. Their other wins, Evansville, UMass, all right, SC State, one of the worst teams in college basketball, and then Division II, Tusculum, I think it is. Yeah, I'm going to go Northern Kentucky at home. I just think it's the home court advantage. I do think these teams are somewhat even. I believe the Norse are slightly better, and they've been playing good non-con basketball so far. I mean, if you take away their Horizon League games, they're 8-2 this year, with their only losses being at Tennessee and at East Tennessee State, right? The non-con wins at home, 11-point victory over EKU, 10-point victory against Wofford, a 9-point victory against BU. They've been able to win non-conference games at home. Hell, their last non-conference game, they go to Bellarmine, and they win the game by 5 points as well. I like the Norse in this spot. They are led in scoring by Dan Grazier. scorer, averaging 16 points per game, senior out of Wisconsin, second year with the Norse, I believe a JUCO product. Only put up 3 points in their last game against Oakland, where they lost 82-77. But this has been the Norse's best scorer all year long, averaging 17 points per game. Him and Kyle Robinson, who's averaging 16, Donovan O'Day's averaging 15, and LJ Wells as well is averaging 13. You're going to see around 7 guys played in this Norse rotation, potentially 8. But for the most part, you get 4 primary guys who can score. Again, Kyle Robinson, senior out of New Zealand, averaging 16 points per game. He picked up the scoring in the last game with Dan not scoring at all. Kyle scored 22 points in their last outing. Donovan O'Day averages 15, senior guard for this team out of Arlington, Texas. Played at McNeese to start his career, then went to Cal State Fullerton, started last season for the Titans, and now is over with Northern Kentucky, my apologies. And then LJ Wells averages 13 points per game as well. Another senior, played all 4 seasons at NKU. So you just got a lot of experienced guys here. A bunch of guys who played on the team last year as well. And I just like the experience going around on this Northern Kentucky team, especially with their 4 main players who are able to have big scoring nights. As for the Charleston Cougars, their best scorer this season has been Jalen Counter. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, senior out of Oklahoma City, averaging 13 points per night. He's hopped from school to school so far in his collegiate career, starting at IU Indy, then went to Middle Tennessee, and now is starting at Charleston. He has started at every stop so far. I'm averaging 14 at IU Indy, 10 last year for the Blue Raiders, and now 13 with the Cougars. He's been big this year. Him alongside Connor Hickman has been the other primary scorer. Hickman just came back from injury a couple weeks ago, does average 14 points per game from actually Bloomington, Indiana. Hasn't played the most, obviously, compared to the other guys on the team because of injuries, but he's been a pretty reliable shooter for them and scorer for this team as well, shooting 37%, I guess, from the field's not great. Takes a lot of shots, though, so Hickman is going to get a lot of volume, and if he gets going, he can be really good. Not the best overall three-point shooter, best neither here or there. Started at Bradley, played at Cincinnati last year, didn't get too much run with the Bearcats, and I understand the Bearcat season was all scrambled last year, I understand. Cincinnati, Hickman has been pretty solid this year so far, though, for the Cougars. Ultimately, though, I like the team at home. I think these teams are fairly evenly matched, but I'm going to side with the home team in this spot. I think Northern Kentucky is going to get this team, and it's a non-con game, and we've seen so far this season, yes, the Norse have played much better not playing Horizon League teams, which is a little shocking because some of the Horizon League teams that they've lost to, I mean, you would think Northern Kentucky played better against these squads. I mean, Oakland, I know Oakland can be difficult, but not like Oakland's playing the best basketball this year. Oakland's 6-7 this season. I don't know. And then they also lost to Purdue Fort Wayne on the road. I get it's a road spot, but I don't think the Mastodons are that great either. They've had their games, but I just expect a little more out of this Norse team that has, again, a lot of experience and a lot of returning players. I think they get it right here, though, against the CAA's Charleston Cougars. So I'm going to go with the Norse at home in Highland Heights, Kentucky, to win and cover against the Charleston Cougars, who, by the way, are 0-2 on the road. Northern Kentucky 7-1 at home. Give me the Norse to win and cover 2.5 points here in this non-conference game. We move on now to our next matchup. At 11:30 here on the West Coast, we move to Radford, Virginia to be specific, as they host the VMI Keydets. I'm going to go with the Keydets to cover in this spot. It's an all-Virginia matchup. Radford's been good at home this season, but guys, hey, VMI's last game, incredible stuff. So VMI's last outing, and we picked it here on the channel, they hosted Loyola, Maryland. And they won the game 86-70 because they couldn't miss from beyond the arc. They cooled down in the second half, but that first half they were shooting above 50% from the three-point line. They were shooting lights out, and really Loyola Maryland just dug themselves into an immediate hole, and VMI went up at half, up 52-31 against Loyola Maryland. So VMI has not played since. Their last game, again, was, let me give the exact date, it was December 9th. So they've been off for 12 days now. It's a fairly long time. A lot of rest going into this one. I don't know why. I don't know why they haven't played. Maybe it has something to do with them being a military school. I have no idea, but you wouldn't think so. Finals, maybe? I know some teams try to take finals week off. I don't know the schools that actually care about their players going to class. I mean, obviously, like, the Power 4 schools don't give a damn, but you know what I mean, right? I'm not going at them. I mean, that's just the truth. VMI, though, has not played in 11 days or 12 days. They're now going on the road in-state to take on the Radford Highlanders, a Highlanders team who's coming off another in-state matchup in their last game, losing to the Tribe of William and Mary. I will say this about Radford. They can be high scoring, but if VMI continues their hot streak that they picked up 12 days ago, this is going to be trouble for Radford, at least to cover the spread, because immediately I saw this and I was like, all right, I get the game's at Radford, but it's an in-state game in the state of Virginia. Radford's got to cover 11 points at home. I don't know about that. For a team that has kind of just been struggling to win games, and their victories this year are not the highest level teams, let's say that. First victory for Radford this year over the West Illinois Leathernecks. Okay. West Virginia Wesleyan College, I don't know what that is. Notre Dame, Maryland, yeah. St. Francis, okay, beat the Red Flash by 30 points, expected. Copen State beat them by 30 points. Coppin State beat them by 30 points. Okay. I'm not wowed by any of those finishes. Radford is still a 5-8 team this year, and yes, they have been on the wrong side of a lot of, close games, a lot of single-digit final score games, other than like the UNC game where they lost by double digits. Wright State beat them by like 30 points, but they lost to Cleveland State by 5. UNC Wilmington, they hosted the Seahawks. I know the Seahawks haven't been that great recently, but Radford lost them by 8. South Carolina, the Gamecocks beat them by 29. SMU beat them by 17. Southern Miss game only lost by 7. But that's the thing, though, right? Like, Radford has had all these competitive games at home where they actually just lose. Now, Wright State did go into Radford and beat them 92-59, which is a little embarrassing. Actually, no, that was a neutral site game. That was in West Virginia. But anyways, right? This team has played home games and just not had the right side of the equation on them, right? They've been on the wrong side of the stick. I think that's the right wording on that. UNC Wilmington game, they lose by 8 points at home. Southern Miss game, lose by 7 at home. They barely got by West Illinois at home, and they need to beat VMI by double digits. A VMI team who we saw in the Loyola Maryland game, if they get going from 3, oh my goodness. And, I mean, the guy for VMI in that Loyola Maryland game against the Greyhounds was Linus Holstrom. The sophomore out of Stockholm, Sweden, was on fire from beyond the arc in the first half. He goes 7 for 11 from the field in 29 minutes and scores 23 points. All 11 of his shots were three-pointers, and they were all shot in the first half. Yes, he had 7 three-pointers in the first half in front of the Keydets, for the Keydets at VMI, in front of the governor of Virginia as well. I think Youngkin's still the governor, at least. Yeah, I think he is for now. Is he? I think he is. That doesn't matter. Youngkin was there, right? Big game for VMI. And Linus Holstrom balled out, right? It was not a contest. I mean, it was three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. He was pulling up, from deep range, and he was still sinking them and didn't attempt a shot in the second half. But it's okay. VMI was kind of sitting on a lead from there on out. Still, though, that's the last game we have of them. But they have got all that positive momentum building from that last game. And sure, they were on a little bit of a losing streak. Actually, quite a bit of a losing streak going into that Loyola Maryland game, at least against Division I opponents. Losing to Jacksonville in a close game, losing to Richmond, losing to Stetson, losing to Buffalo, losing to Bowling Green, losing to UCF. And not all those games were competitive, I understand. But I'm telling you, that type of momentum built coming into this game, and on top of that, too, on completely full rest. I mean, this is the longest break you're going to get all year long. You are getting 12 days in between playing after a very, very treacherous schedule that VMI had to start the season. And I guess that's why they had to play once every 2 days, really for 3 or 4 weeks, because now they're getting 12 days off going into this spot. They play today, and they don't play again until January 1st. So VMI really taking December off with only 3 total games in the month, one on the 5th against Christendom. I don't know what that is. Loyola Maryland on the 9th, and then obviously today against Radford. But if Holstrom can get going from beyond the arc, that is massive. TJ Johnson has been the leading scorer for this team all year long. I mean, when I've watched, it has been Holstrom, but TJ Johnson can score as well. He did put up 17 points as well in the Loyola Maryland game, but, obviously Holstrom is the guy to watch. TJ Johnson, though, went 4 for 9 from beyond the arc, and that's the thing about VMI. Everyone has the capability of shooting. Will they actually hit the shots? That's the question. But TJ Johnson at his best is really good. He will attempt anywhere from 5 to 12 threes per game. Did have a game earlier in the year where he went 0 for 9 from 3 against Richmond, but he's more than willing to pull the trigger. He's going to keep shooting the basketball. His teammates trust him. His coaches trust him, and he averages 18 and 8 so far this year for the Keydets. There are players in this team that I think that can keep them afloat against Radford. As for the Highlanders, they are led in scoring by Dennis Parker. He's averaging 20. He's been having a great season. Parker's averaging 20. They've also got another guard in Del Jones, who averages 14 points per game. But yeah, Dennis Parker's been phenomenal. He's averaging 20 points per night, put up 26 in the William & Mary game, and then put up 53 points against Copen State. Yeah, you don't see that often, and I get it, right? Copen State is one of the lowest levels teams in all of college basketball, but scoring 53 points in a game is absurd. He goes 10 for 14 from beyond the arc, 19 for 24 shooting, and 5 for 7 from the free throw line. He's going to take a lot of shots, and obviously, that average is great, but it's really boosted by the 53 points, and no shame in that. Dennis Parker can ball. He is going to take most of the shots for this Highlanders team. So it's all about getting the ball out of his hands and forcing it to players like Del Jones, who can score as well, but obviously you much rather it not be Dennis Parker take over the game. This is a player from NC State, has really taken over after moving from Raleigh over to Radford. I'm going to go with VMI here. They just need to keep it close. They just need to keep it within single digits, and I believe they can do so. Plus 11 for the Keydets on the road here in Radford, Virginia, against the Highlanders. We move on now to our third best bet of the video, the game that you saw in the thumbnail. It's between the ACC's Clemson Tigers hosting the Big 12's Cincinnati Bearcats in the Greenville Winter Invitational in South Carolina. Obviously, more so a home game for Clemson. I'm taking the Tigers here. I'm taking the Tigers pretty automatically. I think they should go out here and dominate this basketball game against a Cincinnati team that I just don't trust. The Bearcats 7-4 this season. Look at what they have done. They played Georgia. They lost by 19 points. They played Xavier, crosstown matchup in Cincinnati. They lost by 5 points on the road, and we know Xavier is not the greatest. They lost to East Michigan at home in Cincinnati. Lost to Louisville earlier in the season. Obviously, that's expected. But Cincinnati is yet to win a game over a Power 5 school. Their victories are Alabama State, Tarleton State, NJIT, Mount St. Mary's. Dayton's by far their best victory at home, Georgia State, and West Carolina. So the Bearcats are yet to put together a really good victory, and you can argue they are the worst team in the Big 12. I know Utah is going to continue to have their struggles, and I know there's a lot of things wrong with that Utes team. It may be the Bearcats, though, is dead last worst in the Big 12. I mean, I can see it. And now they got to go to South Carolina and play Clemson, a Clemson team that's only lost 3 times this season to Georgetown on the road. So guys, like, there's a reason I always take Georgetown. They are capable, and yes, we did have Georgetown to beat Clemson. We had Georgetown a couple nights ago to cover against Marquette. Obviously yesterday, it just didn't come through for us, but it's all right. Things happen, I guess, right? Their coach threw a water bottle into the stands and hit a little kid in the face. So now they're getting sued, which... Yikes. I mean, apparently the water bottle was not was not empty. I thought it was empty when I initially saw the clip. Nope. Bro took like a over half full water bottle and chucked it into the crowd. But didn't like chuck it like deep. I promise I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. But didn't like chuck it like, here, I'll reenact it. Like didn't chuck it like deep into the crowd and just like launched it up into the crowd. Obviously the Capital One Arena. No. Like right behind the bench, their coach turned around. I think it was after the end of the game, and just like threw like a baseball right behind his bench. I think he meant to hit one of the chairs behind the bench, but he missed and just hit a little kid in the face. So I think it was like a toddler. I think that's what I'm seeing. That's brutal. Anyways. But like, there's a reason I take Georgetown. Georgetown's actually pretty good at basketball. They beat Clemson, and they're one of the few losses the Tigers have this year. I mean, it's nothing but elite teams in which Clemson has lost to. Georgetown, Georgetown. Brigham Young beat them. I mean, we know how good that team is. AJ DeBonston might be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft this coming off season. And then Alabama, on the road in Alabama. That's nothing but good teams, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not too against Clemson dominating Cincinnati here. Everything kind of shows that they will. Their wins this year, South Carolina by 7 points. I know they were expected to win that game by a lot more, but they got it done. They beat Georgia by 3. In comparison, Cincinnati just lost by 20 to the Georgia Bulldogs, right? So it's not like Clemson isn't tested, and it's not like they haven't proven themselves. They've won big games against big opponents, so I don't think today should be anything different. I mean, can I even consider Cincinnati to be a big opponent? Honestly. They're all right. Are they good? Not really. Clemson's the much better team. They should be able to cover this low line, honestly, this low number of 5.5 points. It's not that many points Clemson's going to have to cover at home. Defensively, too, Clemson should shut down Cincinnati because Cincinnati is going to go through stretches in games where they just can't score points. Like, that happens quite often to them, where they just go for like 6 minutes and nobody hits a field goal, and their only points are coming from the free throw line. Jizzle James did just come back. I will say that. Jizzle James, who they kicked him off the team, was it? I don't know the entire story. I think, he was dismissed from the team. He had gotten, I don't know if he got an offers to play, other places. This is Edgerrin James' son, obviously, right? So Edgerrin James, is he in the Hall of Fame? Edgerrin James in the Hall of Fame? Okay. So obviously, Hall of Fame running back Edgerrin James' son, Jizzle James, got kicked off the team. I thought he was out for the year, but all of a sudden he just reappeared and they brought him back. Probably because they sucked. and their coach is about to get fired. So they said, okay, Jizzle James come back. They brought him back for the Alabama State game. He plays 20 minutes, scores 16 points. He's obviously going to be the best player on the Cincinnati team. He still does not have a lot of game speed back in him, though. Like, down the stretch of the year, obviously this is going to be huge for the Bearcats. Is it going to be too big, though, in his second game returning? I don't know. But Jizzle James, at his best, can be really good. Baba Miller has been the leading scorer this season for them, averaging 15 and 11. But yes, Jizzle James is returning now. Day Thomas just put up 13, is averaging 13 as well. Clemson's just the all-around better basketball team. I do expect Cincinnati to improve as we go on this year, but I mean, they did have Jizzle James last year. They had Lukauskas last year, who went through his, had his big games. They had Day Thomas last season, Dylan Mitchell, Dan Skillings, and they still were a very mid team in the Big 12. Again, I expect them to improve with James back in the lineup, but in this spot, particularly in this spot, I still think the Tigers run right over them. I'm going to go Clemson here to win and cover. Yes, again, Cincinnati is an improved team with Jizzle James back in the lineup, but I do think the Tigers are going to get this one. Give me Clemson at home here to cover 5.5 points. It should be a fairly easy spot for them. On now to our next best bet. Let's go to our guys. Come on now. CUSA opener for Sam Houston as they go on the road. It's the opener too for New Mexico State. But in Las Cruces, New Mexico State hosts the Sam Houston Bearcats. Absolutely. Give me Sam Houston. We're not going to get greedy. Okay, when we took Cincinnati to cover against Oregon State, we thought they'd probably win, but I didn't want to get greedy, and I said, you know what, close game. If it's a close game, we still get a 2.5 point allowance. I'm doing the same exact thing here. Give me the plus 2.5 for Sam Houston, just in case. I've been doing that a little bit more than just forcing money lines. Like, obviously we would have made more yesterday if we bet Nevada money line instead of the plus 3.5, but I do think it's the safer play, and unless I really like the spot, and if the team's at home, not even. We'll get into that in a second. Unless I really like the team and they're at home, I'll probably stay away from it. And again, if I really like the team in particular to clutch out a victory. I think Sam Houston probably wins the game, but let's just take the 2.5 point allowance while we're at it, while we are offered it. Really, to me, this game should be even money. I think so. Guys, I've seen Sam Houston play good basketball on the road all year long. Their only losses on the road are at Lubbock, Texas against Texas Tech, and at Utah against the Utes. Against, a mid team, don't get me wrong. Before Sam Houston, that's a difficult opponent, and playing them in Salt Lake City and only losing by 6 points, you're going to take that. Sam Houston 7-3. Oh, by the way, their only other loss in Stillwater to Oklahoma State. Other than that, at Oregon State win, at Texas Southern win, we're taking that from the Sam Houston Bearcats. And how about 2 victories in Idaho? Not at the University of Idaho, not at Idaho State, but in Idaho Falls, Idaho, playing against the most crooked referees I've ever seen. We're talking about this like Puka Nakua style rigged referees. Sam Houston goes to Idaho State and Idaho beats both of them with the referees definitely not on their side. I am all over the Bearcats right now, and you are hard pressed, in my opinion, to say a better team in the CUSA than the Sam Houston Bearcats. And I don't believe New Mexico State is that team. I don't believe so. If you want to say the Liberty Flames, you might be able to. They just went to Dayton yesterday and won. I do like that team quite a bit. Not going to get too far with Liberty right now, but they've only lost to NC State. They did get blown out and only score 40 points, but they've only lost to NC State, Townsend, Bradley. Okay, those are some decent mid-majors. So I'll give you Liberty. I will give you Liberty if you think Liberty is better than Sam Houston. Other than the Flames, I don't think so. And I personally think the Bearcats are currently better than the Liberty Flames as well. I just need to put that out there. Sam Houston 7-3. 7-3 again, with their only losses being on the road to Tech, Utah, and Oklahoma State. 2-3 Big 12 teams on the road. But that victory a couple nights ago in Corvallis against Oregon State, my goodness. I mean, they take that lead and they do not give it back. Early breakaway for the Bearcats. They are in complete control of that game. Oregon State went on a couple runs where they'd get that lead back to 2 points, they'd get it back to 1 point, and then Sam Houston would completely just pull away again. Trust me, I am really big on this team. We have taken Sam Houston more than a few times at this point now, and I've watched this team so much, I continue to like what we get out of this team, man. They've got great shooting. They've got a player in Kashi Nat who can drive to the basket at will. And we said as well, if he can get going from 3, he's so dangerous. He goes 3 for 3 from 3 in Corvallis against the Beavs. How about Po Boy King? He's only on the court to shoot. 3 for 7 from 3. We're going to take it. 18 points. Their big play is not bad either. They get all-around scoring from everybody. I'm telling you, man, watch out for Vilo Ilic, averaging 9 and 6 this year, but the game he had against Oregon State, how about 15 and 12? I'm telling you, Sam Houston comes to play, and their only road losses this year are really good. Utah, good teams in the Big 12. Teams. in the Big 12. Let me emphasize that. So they're going back on the road to Las Cruces. I know it's been somewhat of a long road trip because they were in Corvallis on Wednesday night. Now they're in New Mexico here on Sunday. I still think they get this one. I really like, again, what Sam Houston does. They run in transition. Kashinat is handling the basketball, and he's doing a great job for this team. Again, he is a very effective rim runner is, I think, the wrong way to put it. He's a very effective driver of the basketball, and he also leads them in reboundings with 8 rebounds per game, and he leads them in steals and blocks with 2 steals and 1 block per game as well. I mean, this is a very athletic point guard that Sam Houston has. They get shooting from Po Boy King. Isaiah Manning's coming off the bench and playing big minutes for this team. How about, again, Elik, who's been starting recently? He's been massive. I'm high on this squad right now. The New Mexico State Aggies have lost 6 games in a row. They've only played 9 games this season, but they have lost 3 in a row after starting off pretty hot. They beat Adams State. They beat New Mexico Highlands. What? They beat New Mexico for the 2nd consecutive season. Right now, the Aggies just have the Lobos' number, whether that be in the pit or in Las Cruces. They have New Mexico's number currently. They beat Samford by 9 points. They beat UC Irvine in a very low-scoring affair. They beat Georgia State, but the Panthers are horrible at basketball currently and football. They're just horrible at everything. Shout out to TJ Finley for transferring to his 8th school this offseason. And the New Mexico State has dropped back 3 straight games after beating Georgia State and starting 6-0. 2-point loss to South Alabama, going to Albany Christian and losing by 8 points, and a 13-point loss in their last outing 8 days ago against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. The Aggies are led in scoring by Jamel Jones. He's their only double-digit scorer per game currently. Senior guard out of Chicago, Illinois. Played at C-Sub last year. Was phenomenal, obviously, for Cal State Bakersfield. We talked about Jamel Jones quite a bit last season. He was great last year, 19 points per game, one of the better players as a whole in the Big West. Now it comes to New Mexico State, and he's still the guy over here. The rest of the scoring around him, though, is not great. I'll say Julius Mims is the 2nd best player on this team, averaging 9 and 7. He's in his senior season as well, coming from Idaho, from the Vandals, now playing at New Mexico State. Other than that, man, I don't really love the scoring on New Mexico State. And it was the same thing I said about Bakersfield last year. It's like, it's almost an identical situation that Jamel Jones was in last year. He was great. He was a very efficient scorer, but he would literally get no help other than what he could just do himself. Sam Houston has 4 guys on the court that can actively score and drop 15 points per game. And again, it's a lot of Kashinat, it's a lot of Po Boy King's shooting ability, but I really love what Sam Houston does, and they play in transition really well as well. I'm going to go with the Bearcats to get this one done. Give me Sam Houston on the road plus 2.5. We'll take the points. They go to Las Cruces and cover. I think they probably still win their CUSA opener, but I'll take the points while we have them. Give me Sam Houston on the road plus 2.5. On now to our final best bet of the video. We move to another 2.5 point spread, and we are going to again take the 2.5 points with Cal Poly. The reason why I'm not taking the money line is because I don't really love it. Okay, if I was there, again, these games get on the best bets for a reason, right? If I was all over Poly, and if Poly had shown me a lot throughout the course of the year, other than just one game, I'd be all over Poly money line right now. I'm going to take the 2.5 points because we are given the 2.5 points. Idaho's been playing good basketball. This is a shock spot for the Cal Poly Mustangs, though. I think they're going to surprise Idaho here. Big Sky game, right? Big Sky versus Big West game, excuse me. Obviously, Idaho from the Big Sky, Cal Poly in the Big West. I like the Cal Poly Mustangs quite a bit here because, okay, here's the thing about Idaho. They've played good basketball. I don't know if they can go on the road again, though, and win. I mean, they went to South Dakota and won. They went to Wazoo and won. They lost UCSD on the road. Cal Poly has been right there. They've been playing solid enough basketball, and I will keep saying it. If you think you can beat Cal Poly, then you have to be prepared to score a bunch of points. And sure, right, Montana State the other day, did it. They went out there and they outscored Cal Poly, right? That was the other Big Sky team I was referring to earlier, right? Montana State went out to Poly to slow and scored, 83 points on the Mustangs? Yeah. Montana State and Cal Poly back and forth game. Montana State, for the most part, was leading the dance in that one, but Poly was definitely always in it. And the Mustangs scored 80 points, but obviously 83 points were scored by Montana State, and that's just been what's gotten Poly all year long. They put up a bunch of points, and they're just on the wrong end of a very close game, and we can look at this throughout the course of the year, with the exception of their first big victory of the year was against Seattle U. And by the way, how about Seattle U beating Washington yesterday at Climate Pledge, or 2 days ago at Climate Pledge? That team's legit. Seattle University is seriously, they are a serious team again this season, more so than last year too. But Cal Poly went to Seattle U and beat them by 2 points in a crazy comeback early in the season. Since then, they have struggled in the tight games, losing at Montana by 8 points. Actually, they did beat Utah by 7 points on the road, but then losing at NAU by 6. There goes your momentum. Beat Fullerton in a game that, yes, the final score says it's a 3-point game. Poly blew a 20-point lead with like 5 minutes to go. I'm over-exaggerating a little bit there, but legitimately, like, we've talked about Peter Bondel quite a bit. Bondel had like 30-something points and couldn't miss from 3, and yet Fullerton just kept hitting 3 after 3 after 3 and kept extending that game, and somehow the final score is 94-91. But anyways, Poly does get out of that one, but it's not as close as the score indicates, I'll say that. And their last 3 games, man, 2 games at home to the cesspool known as UC Riverside, losing by 4 points at home against UCR, losing by 3 points at home against Montana State, and then they just went to the Poly Pavilion 2 days ago and went to UCLA to take on the Bruins, lost by 20 points, but put up 87. So, like, you have to be prepared to score a lot of points against this team, and I know Idaho is capable of doing that. I have a feeling Cal Poly can get him here. I really think so. Poly, again, has just been that close, and they're due for a really, I don't want to say a really good defensive night, but they're due for things to fall their way on the defensive side of the ball, because they do play quick offense, they shoot the ball quite a lot, and they are trouble on that side of the court. And again, it starts, in my opinion, with Peter Bondel. I know Bondel is not the leading scorer on this team by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's either second or third leading scorer on this squad. But if Peter Bondel can get going, I mean, he's such an X factor for this team. He actually is their second leading scorer with 17 a night. Again, the game I'm referring to is the Fullerton game where he dropped 37. He had just one of the craziest three-point nights. You're going to see 9 for 10, but just like watch the three-pointers Bondel takes, and again, shoots 90% from beyond the arc. Went 4 for 5, though, against UCLA and scored 87 points. Scored 17 of the 87 points Poly scored in LA. But Bondel is a difference maker. We know that Ahmad Musa is going to score. And that's why Bondel's so big. Because we know Musa is going to score. Caden Ward is their other primary scoring option as well. And it's really, again, these 3 guards that get it done. In Musa, Ward, and Bondel. Musa is a huge guard. He's 6'8" from Qatar. And then you got Ward and Bondel as well. Poly's entire thing as well is, positionless basketball. Everyone on the court can shoot. Just keep attacking, and find the first good shot you can take. But if Bondel can get going, man, it opens up everything else, because Musa's going to have the ball in his hands for the most part. But now if you get attention away from Musa and onto Bondel, it just opens up things for him. It opens up opportunities for Caden Ward. So if we can just get a good shooting night early out of Bondel like we've been seeing recently, I think it's going to be trouble for Idaho. And again, you walk into San Luis Obispo, you walk into that little facility that feels like a high school gym, and you need to be prepared to score at least 90 points. Seriously, because that's just how they play. Leading scorer this year for the Vandals has been Jackson Rasmussen, averaging 15 points per night for the Vandals. The freshman out of Meridian, Idaho, is averaging 15 a game, just dropped 20 in their last outing. Christian Gonzalez has only played 1 game this season. It was their first game, put up 18 points, but he has been injured since, so that's obviously been a big loss for the Vandals throughout the course of the season. Colton Mitchell averages 12. He's currently the second leading scorer on this team, but we've seen Idaho before, and yeah, they went out to Brookings and beat South Dakota State last week, but the Sam Houston game, man, we saw a high-scoring Sam Houston team that pushed a pace against Idaho, pressured them the entire game, and ran in transition, something that Poly's going to do, and Sam Houston ran them out the building in Idaho, beating them 94-68. Kind of a slow first half, competitive first half, and then Sam Houston completely pulled away in the second half. So if Cal Poly can just get out to a quick start, moving the ball down court, pushing a pace, and making Idaho run with them, I think Cal Poly is going to find a way to get this one done. And on top of that as well, if it's a competitive game, if we're looking at a situation where this one's is going down to the final shot, we get the 2.5 point allowance with Poly as well. So I think a lot can go our way in this spot. And as well, the Mustangs have been very due for a win, and they are very deserving of a victory considering the way they've played their last 3 outings against the cesspool, Montana State, and UCLA. They have played such tight games, and they just haven't been on the right side of those equations, and I get it. The UCLA game, they still lost by 20 points. But, I mean, if you can walk into UCLA and drop 88, you're going to take that. And UCLA obviously just shoots the lights out the ball sometimes with Sky Clark and company. I'm pretty sure Donovan Dent had a big game in that UCLA Poly game as well. But if they can just keep playing like that, I think they're going to be okay. And I think they can pick up, I believe at least this is going to be a very competitive game with another big Sky school like we saw earlier in the week with them and Montana State. So it's going to be Cal Poly at home at San Luis Obispo plus 2.5 for the Mustangs. Folks, thank you all for watching our college basketball best bets here on December 21st. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily college basketball best bets. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.